He put his head selfishly under the safety and then slammed the bar down on top of it over and over and over.
Aside from like a gun vault, if you break into somebody's house and what's the thing you see that scares you the most? Like other than evidence that this is a gun owner, because we're in America, everybody has guns.
Probably a syringe, like a heroin syringe.
I've got syringes laying around everywhere. Here,
I know those aren't heroin syringes; those are getting jacked syringes.
Yeah, I have to tell people when I have like repairmen in, I'm like, hey, that's I'm fucking juicing it, bro. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
It would be easy to tell those were not heroin ones, but
they look exactly like heroin syringes.
What are the telltale signs that the homeowner's an absolute badass? Probably if I saw like a reef tank and a paramotor, maybe.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or a whole shelf for board games and magic cards. That would tell me like, whoa, this guy knows how to have fun.
We got some strategy to contend with.
Yeah, this guy's
If Taylor robs a house and he has magic, I think he has a new mission. Like, hey, bro, I'll be blue.
Let's give it a go, bro. Let's play for your TV.
I no longer want your toaster.
See, I've always had pet reptiles, so no tropical fish, but I have a 9-foot-long boa constrictor, and so
What's his name?
Sunny the lamboa. And so she's about 11-year-old albino snake. But you run into different people, especially like pest control people. An exterminator comes in, and so my first business was actually breeding albino iguanas in my parents' basement in middle school. And so this guy came to my parents' house, and I think I was the only one home when he was coming to spray whatever. I said, "Don't go in the basement." He's like, "Why not?" I said, "Don't worry about it. We don't need anything dealt with down there."
Don't worry about it.
And apparently he was also the owner of exotic pets, and he had like an 18-foot reticulated python when he lived in some condo in Florida. And he did the same thing. He had a sign on the door in the room where the snake stayed to somebody who was coming to fix an HVAC thing or something like that. And he said, "Don't go in here." Of course, the first thing the guy does, it was like a left the door unlocked situation. He checks that room. Guy is deathly afraid of snakes, and immediately catatonic, convulsing on the floor, so scared of this thing because it's not in a cage.
Snake in a cage or an aquarium or something?
An 18-foot snake is going to require a room.
That's Sonny's room.
That's right. Yeah, don't go in Sonny's room. But the snake knew that if the door was opened and left open, the snake was supposed to crawl out towards the front door because they would feed it outside. And so this guy is deathly afraid of snakes, and the giant snake crawls over him, not to eat him, but just on the way to the door. And I guess eventually he gets the courage to scream loud enough for the neighbors to come in. And for some reason, they made him donate the snake to a zoo or something like that.
What a pussy.
No, they took his snake away?
They did.
Should you be able to have an 18-foot snake in your residential home?
Yes,
this
you
is
should.
America. You should be able to have a tiger.
No, I think you guys are wrong at the perspective I was coming at it from.
Oh, which one?
Do you have it? There's not enough room in a basement room for an 18-foot snake to be happy. You don't have to care about snakes the same way because it's not like it's a whale. It's pretty retarded.
They're not capable of happiness, I don't think.
But you should still be kind enough to
I bet if you tested the brain chemistry, I bet if you tested the brain chemistry of like a python who was like beloved and treated like a baby and petted, and the brain chemistry of one that was kept in a fucking cage but fed regularly, about the same.
You are right in this because
my needs are met, my lord.
Reptiles don't even have a forebrain or a midbrain, so they only have impulses like hungry, cold, hot, uncomfortable, like pressure sensations.
It's like Creed said in The Office: animals don't feel pain.
Fish don't.
They say that.
How convenient that is that fishermen decided
they apparently don't have the mechanism for it in the way we do. So they can feel like I am being violated, but like they don't
That's
feel
what pain is.
You're telling me their pain
what
is
I'm
different
telling
than
you,
ours.
Woody, is it's a backwards rationalization to make us feel better. What I'm telling you is there's no evidence for this either way.
If the fish instead of the apes had evolved to sentiency and a technological empire, they would gut us and say, they don't feel pain the way we do.
Exactly. Taylor's going to come at us on PKA 646 or something and be like, you know what? Skinny frat bros don't feel pain when you remove them from the parking spot.
Yeah.
Oh, I got another recounting of this might be the most insane police activity video I've ever seen.
Okay.
So
wait, hold on. But before we get to the police thing, I wanted to talk more about Ed's lizards and snakes.
I do too. Good.
I
didn't want to talk away from that. Yeah.
Like, What was the impetus of you doing that as your first job in middle school? Like a friend wanted to buy one from you and you realized there was money, or what led to it?
I'd had a pet iguana for a long, long time, and I thought it was a really cool pet. It's one of those things that nobody comes in and remembers that you had a dog, but it was always a thing to talk about. You know, it's an interesting pet, and they're really low maintenance reptiles in general. I mean, the snake eats once a month, poops once a month. It's the easiest thing in the world, and it's great around children. You can't be allergic to a snake
all the way around them.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
She's a real hugger, the snake. And so I don't know. I always just enjoyed it. I thought in the same way that you like a fish, right? That it's something interesting to look at. And, when it's nice, I'll let her outside. She'll crawl around in the backyard for a couple of hours.
Can she get away from you?
They don't move all that fast. I mean, she could move fast enough for a brisk walk to catch her, I suppose, but it's very easy to keep an eye on her, and she just sticks around. So it's a good thing.
Did you ever mess with any like venomous reptiles?
No, I didn't. I got a permit to get an alligator several years ago, but I was renting a warehouse that I then stopped renting. That's where I was going to live, and so Yeah, but my 8-year-old desperately wants an alligator next.
We almost got a bunch.
8-year-old would be so cool with one arm.
Exactly. And faster in a race car, as it turns out.
We almost got an alligator lagoon at one point. That pond that I often would blow shit up in my videos. We were going to turn that into a gator pond. Because one of the things you can do when you've got poultry,
idea.
it made a lot of sense, because one of the things you can do when you have poultry houses, because so many chickens die every day, you have to do something with them. People either burn them, they incinerate them, they bury them, which is really easy to do, but the environmental agencies really don't like that. Or you could feed them to gators. You could just get yourself a bunch of gators, and they could eat like huge amounts of chicken every day. And so there was a point when I think the environmental people were restricting the way that you could bury them. And Dad was like, maybe we'll just, so-and-so's got alligators. He's got like 30 alligators, and they just eat all the dead chickens.
This actually seems like a practical good idea. I was ready to make fun of it, but that totally makes sense.
You can't poke holes in that.
Yeah. And the alligators are going to be well behaved because they're reptiles. If they know I just hang out in this pond and they throw chickens at me, it's not going to go looking for shit or attack.
You don't rock that boat.
Yeah.
Yep.